Now let us discuss about measurement of an important non-electrical quantity, that is flow measurement. So let us say measurement of flow. Now in most of the fields of engineering, the study of flow is very important. So measurement of flow means the measurement of fluid velocity, flow rate or flow quantity and so on. So in case of industries, flow of material in a process or system can be measured by different methods depending upon the type of material and its condition, the type of flow, the volume, the pressure, different parameters like volume, pressure, temperature range and the accuracy needed. So depending upon all these parameters, there are different methods of measurement of flow. Now the flowing medium may be a liquid medium, it may be a fluid medium, it may be gas or it may be solid. So basically there are two types of flows. One is laminar flow and another one is turbulent flow. Now in case of laminar flow, when the fluid starts flowing through parallel conduits, then the velocity of particles at the center is highest, and theoretically the velocity of particles near the conduit is zero, but practically it will not be zero. The velocity will be lowest at the near the conduit. But here at the beginning, when the fluid starts flowing through parallel conduits, the velocity will be highest or more at the center and the velocity will be lowest at near the conduit in case of laminar flow. Now as the liquid or the fluid flows through the conduit for a long time, so after some time the velocity near the conduit also increases. The velocity of the particles near the conduit also increases. So the velocity at the center will be more and the velocity near the conduit will almost be same as the velocity of the particles at the center. And this type of flow is called as turbulent flow. Now let us discuss about different methods of measurement of flow. So let us say electromagnetic flow meter. So electromagnetic flow meter is one of the most commonly used device to measure the different parameters of flow. So these meters are particularly suitable for the flow measurements of slurries, sludges and any electrically conducting fluid. So here flow of an electrically conducting fluid may be determined by measuring the EMF developed between a pair of electrodes of an insulating conduit due to the movement of liquid through a magnetic field. So let us see a detailed working of this electromagnetic flow meters. So here let us consider the flow of a conductive liquid, the flow of conductive liquid through a non-metallic insulating pipe or insulating conduit. So this insulating conduit or insulating pipe is located in the air gap of a permanent magnet. So now the fluid motion or the liquid motion relative to the magnetic field always generates an EMF across the electrodes. So this is in accordance with Faraday's law. We know that according to Faraday's law, whenever there is a relative motion between a conductor and a magnetic field, the EMF will be induced in the conductor. The same principle is used here. So this conducting liquid acts as a moving conductor. Since the liquid is flowing inside this insulating conduit, so that liquid is a conductor, the liquid acts as a conductor, and since it is flowing, it acts as a moving conductor. And there is a magnetic flux developed by this permanent magnet. So there is a relative motion between the conducting fluid and the magnetic field developed by this permanent magnet. So therefore, now here the electrodes are in contact with the conducting fluids through the insulating conduit. You can see this diagram here. So this is the insulating conduit. So this is fluid flow, conducting fluid, and these are the two opposite electrodes. They are immersed in the conducting fluid through insulating conduit. And therefore the EMF is developed across the electrodes, and that is measured by means of millivoltmeter or potentiometer. So that EMF developed according to Faraday's law, it is E is equal to B into L into V. That means B is the magnetic flux density, which is constant for a given permanent magnet, and L is the length of the conductor. Here the length of the conductor is the length of the insulating conduit through which the conducting fluid is flowing. That is also a constant for given length of insulating conduit. And V is velocity of the conductor. So here velocity of the conductor is nothing but the velocity of the flow. The velocity of liquid flow is nothing but the velocity of conductor. And therefore, since B and L are constants here, the EMF generated is directly proportional to V, that is the velocity of liquid flow. So as the velocity of liquid flow increases, the EMF developed also increases. So therefore, here the velocity of flow is measured in terms of EMF developed. Now let us discuss about ultrasonic flow meters and thermal flow meters. The working principle of ultrasonic flow meter is based on the change in the velocity of propagation of sound waves in a fluid with the change in the velocity of fluid. So in case of ultrasonic flow meters, it uses a transmitter, sound transmitter and sound receiver. So that sound transmitter, it transmits sound waves or sound signals along the flow of fluid. And at the other end, there is a sound receiver which receives the sound waves, and it calculates or it measures the sound velocity with which the sound has traveled through the liquid. Now, as the velocity of liquid increases, the sound velocity also increases. And as the velocity of fluid decreases, the velocity of sound which is propagating through liquid also decreases. So therefore, here the fluid velocity is measured in terms of sound velocity. Now let us see the working of thermal flow meter. So this thermal flow meter, as you can see in the diagram, it consists of a heater coil placed in a fluid stream. It has two temperature sensors, T1 and T2. The two temperature sensors are located symmetrically with respect to the heater coil in the fluid, in the flowing fluid. So one temperature sensor, that is T1, is at upstream side, and another temperature sensor, that is T2, is at the downstream side. So now, whenever there is no flow of fluid, whenever the velocity of fluid flow is 0, when the fluid is at standstill condition, and when the supply is given to the heater coil produces heat. It heats up the liquid or fluid. Then the temperatures T1 and T2 of the sensors will be same, because since the two temperature sensors are placed symmetrically about heater coil, the two temperatures T1 and T2 will be same. This is when the fluid is at rest, and the difference in the temperature, that is T2 minus T1, will be 0. Now when the fluid is flowing and when the flow increases, T1 will decrease, the temperature T1 will decrease and the temperature T2 increases until the steady state is reached. Now as the velocity of fluid increases, T1 goes on decreasing and T2 goes on increasing. So therefore the difference in temperatures T2 minus T1 will be more as the velocity of fluid is increased. So therefore in this case the fluid velocity is measured in terms of the difference in the temperature, the difference in the two temperatures, that is T2 minus T1. So as the fluid velocity is increased, T2 minus T1, the difference in the temperature also increases. So in this way thermal flow meters are used to measure the fluid flow velocity. Now let us discuss about wire anemometers used to measure the flow velocity. So these devices are also called as hot wire resistance transducers. So here they are particularly used for the measurement of flow velocity of fluids. By suitably locating these transducers, the flow velocities or flow rates of non-conducting liquids in either open channels or closed pipes can be easily measured. So far with the different methods which we have discussed, so with those methods we have measured the flow velocity of conducting liquids or conducting fluids. Now with this wire anemometer we can also measure the fluid velocity of non-conducting liquids or non-conducting fluids. So here the hot wire probe acts as a transducer and it is located at the center of the pipe with the direction of wire perpendicular to the direction of fluid flow. So the wire, the hot wire, is made up of platinum tungsten wire. So here the preheated platinum tungsten wire is used as hot wire probe, and this hot wire probe is inserted into the fluid flow. So this hot wire probe acts as the fourth arm of a Wheatstone bridge. This is Wheatstone bridge and the hot wire probe acts as one of the arms of Wheatstone bridge. So in this case, when the fluid is flowing through a conduit and the preheated hot wire probe is inserted into the fluid. Now this hot wire gets cooled by the instantaneous velocity of conducting fluid, and we know that when the temperature of platinum tungsten wire is more, its resistance will also be high, and with the flow of fluid, as the temperature of this hot wire decreases, so its resistance also decreases, and that change in the resistance or decrease in the resistance is measured by means of this Wheatstone bridge arrangement. So here the rate of cooling of wire, it depends upon mainly 4 parameters. One is the dimensions and physical properties of wire. Second one is difference of temperature between wire and fluid. And third one is physical properties of fluid. and fourth one is the stream velocity or fluid velocity. So now for the first three parameters are effectively constant because the dimensions and physical properties of wire is constant for a given set of wire, and difference of temperature between wire and fluid is also constant for a particular preheated temperature of the wire. Then the third parameter, that is physical properties of fluid, is also constant for a given fluid. So therefore the rate of cooling of wire, it depends upon the fourth parameter. It varies with fourth parameter, that is the stream velocity, the velocity of fluid. So therefore, as the velocity of fluid increases, the rate of cooling of wire also increases. That means the wire gets cooled fast with faster rate, and therefore the temperature, the decrease in the temperature of the wire is also fast. So that rate of decrease of resistance or rate of decrease of temperature with the rate of decrease of resistance is measured, which gives the value of fluid velocity. This is how the fluid velocity can be measured in case of wire anemometers.